After a flurry of panicked words, Kumasaka managed to explain to Takia what had happened and that Tozawa wasn't being lewd in the lecture hall. Tozawa, however, was making a pouty face, disappointed with how everything went. Kumasaka panted with relief, while Tozawa casually mentioned that she would have been fine with this misunderstanding. Kumasaka looked at Tozawa and pondered what she had just said, while she talked about classes and what they should do after them, unaware of Kumasaka's gaze. Resolving himself, Kumasaka called out to Tozawa, who replied, puzzled by Kumasaka's sudden change of tone and attitude. Kumasaka tells Tozawa that making lewd jokes like she did is fine when it's just them, but he doesn't like it when she makes them in front of other guys and he doesn't want her to do it again. He concludes by saying that he doesn't want anyone looking at her in a negative light. Seeing Kumasaka so serious and earnest, Tozawa is completely blown away. Seeing him like this, Tozawa blushed like crazy, noticing that Kumasaka is really concerned for her and cares for her. It overtook her emotions in a rush and she barely stuttered out an apology and that she won't do it again, barely able to control herself. She became lost for words and stood there, her entire face beet red. However, Takia was still watching them. He couldn't hear them, but he thought that Tozawa had finally been worn down by Kumasaka and was now falling for his roguish charms. This wild speculation ended up becoming a rumor around the campus. Tozawa approached Kumasaka, mentioning it was winter, so isn't he cold only wearing a t-shirt? Kumasaka, looking unfazed, gave a questioning grunt. Tozawa quickly clarified that if he's okay then that's fine, but looking at him makes her feel cold. Kumasaka apologized about that and began to explain why he was only wearing a t-shirt. Kumasaka reminisced about his childhood and commented that he's always had a weird resistance to the cold. Tozawa told him that he stood out like this, so offered him her scarf and gloves. Kumasaka thanked her, thinking that her scarf smelled lovely. Looking annoyed, Kumasaka stood there as it looked like a child had dressed him up. Tozawa mentioned that maybe her gloves were a little too tight, with Kumasaka more concerned about looking like a weirdo. Tozawa then suggested that Kumasaka try carry her against his chest to hide his clothes. Her black panther eyes alluded to her thoughts being lewd, thinking that clinging to Kumasaka all day on campus would make her melt. As she began to boil over with naughty thoughts, Kumasaka declined, saying that she'd make the situation go from weird to freaky. Kumasaka decided to wear a jacket that Tozawa picked out for him to impress her and to fit in more with the crowds of freezing students. He was pleased with himself and excited to see her reaction. Walking to campus, however, was a nightmare. He was cooking from the inside, with his naturally high body temperature betraying him. Tozawa went to greet Kumasaka before noticing he was overheating and drenched in sweat. Noticing Tozawa, he apologized for looking gross and she should probably not touch him. She told him not to worry and be more concerned about overheating and take off his jacket. Powering through it, he said that they're close to campus, so they should just keep pushing. Finally arriving in the lecture hall, Tozawa complimented him on making it while dabbing his sweat with her handkerchief. She tells him to take off his jacket and cool down. Stripping it off, a torrent of steam emerged, revealing a soaked t-shirt that clung to Kumasaka's skin. As he was looking a hot mess, Kumasaka commented that it felt like he was not going to make it. Tozawa stood there, head blank, nose bleeding, emotions flowing freely, and her eyes swirling like a dark temptation that was going to drive her mad. Thank you very much for watching, and if you're only here to watch the stories and ignore everything else, well, you're free to go. Thank you very much. Why I'm doing this is I'd like to mention that next Sunday is the last Sunday of the month. Therefore, I'll be doing the entire month's chapters into one video. So if you've already watched every video up till now, you've already seen everything. However, the new chapters will also be in that video. I'll put a timestamp in the description of the video coming out next Sunday, and that will essentially help you jump straight to the new chapters if you just want to see that. But if you're one of the people that are kind of just jumping around and just wanting kind of the bigger recaps, every last Sunday of the month, you will get essentially your monthly recap. That is the plan. But I hope you enjoy it all. I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week coming up, because it's Christmas week. If you're celebrating Christmas, happy Christmas. If you don't, happy week. But take care of yourselves, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.